Now, chapter 4, we take it to the next level, which is not just that we have 10 faculties in the soul, every level of the soul, but every level of the soul requires clothing, garments. And the garments of the soul are machshava, dibur, ma'aseh, thought, speech, and deed. And this is why your neshama comes down into this world. Because it wants these garments very badly. And the only way to get them is here in this world. What are the garments? The garments are Torah and mitzvahs. Because for Torah, we need the garment of speech. And for mitzvahs, we need chesed and gevurah, love and fear. And these connect us to Hashem. Wasn't the neshama connected to Hashem? Didn't we say in the first place that the neshama is part of Hashem? Yes, indeed. But that's not an essential connection. It's a superficial connection, an external connection, and the neshama wants an essential connection. And that can only be through Torah and mitzvahs, because Torah and mitzvahs are Hashem. Okay, who have we got online here? Who is this? Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Chana.
You're Chana? Yes?
Yes.
What's your last name, Chana?
Goodman, Goodman.
Sidman?
Goodman.
Zidman with a Z?
Goodman.
Oh, Goodman. Okay. I'm gonna add your name to the list. Chana, where do you live?
Los Angeles.
Whoa, this is early in the morning for you.
Yeah.
My daughter lives in Los Angeles.
Oh, nice. Whereabouts?
What's the name? Wilkins Avenue, Wilkins Road. I don't know where that is. There's a Persian shul nearby where they live.
Oh, okay.
It's not the central Chabad community. Okay, Chana Goodman, welcome. Have you learned Tanya before?
Yes, but just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Okay, well, we were just doing a summary, a quick summary. Again, we'll go over it again. Chapter 1, we learned that Hashem makes neshamas. Lots of neshamas, everybody's neshamas, but in you also neshamas, plural, a godly soul and the opposite of a godly soul, the animal soul. And we learned there are 4 basic elements: fire, water, air, and earth. They make up everything. And even spiritually, we see these elements in the animal soul, and the Alter Rebbe describes for us how they act in the animal soul. And then we spoke about it in class, how they act in the godly soul. For instance, fire in the animal soul causes a person to behave with anger and pride. And in the godly soul, it makes a person behave with enthusiasm, with warmth, compassion, and so on. In the second chapter, we learned about the godly soul. The first chapter is only about the animal soul. Second chapter is the godly soul, which comes in after. And that is a part of God. Like when you blow very hard, try it. Take a deep breath, blow hard. Where do you blow from? Deep inside, not just breathing. Angels are created from breathing, so to speak. It's easy, just an exhalation. There's nothing to it. But blowing is hard. So it says Hashem blows a soul into mankind, into Adam. And then we spoke also another metaphor of how deep the godly soul is in the essence of God is like the way a child is born from the highest thoughts of the Father. And then in chapter 3, we learned about the basic DNA of creation, which is the 10 aspects, the tenfold nature of everything, which subdivides into two: 3 intellectual aspects, that's Chokhmah, Bina, V'das, Chabad, and 7 emotive aspects corresponding to the 7 days of the week. 7 active drivers, so to speak. Basically, love and fear, and their offshoots and derivatives, which are to be seen throughout the other days of the week. And now in chapter 4, we're starting to learn about a new concept, which is the garments. The soul wants, so now we learned that the soul has 10 aspects to it. These 10 aspects have a root. They are rooted in the 10 holy sephiros of God. When God emanates within himself these 10 spheres, before he does that, there's only God. So like a primordial stage of creation is that Hashem emanates these 10 sephiros, 10 aspects within himself, and from them comes out replications on lower levels so that we can have lower worlds where these 10 aspects become more substantial and even become creations. A creation means it's separate from its creator. Whereas in godliness, these 10 aspects are not separate from the creator. They're within Hashem himself. Like just to make up a metaphor on the spot. I'm making this up. Okay, it's not written anywhere. You have a young man who doesn't know anything about life. A young man. And he meets a young lady, never met a young lady before. And he feels something, an attraction. And he starts to think, that maybe young men and young women, belong together, make a family. And this is a replication, in fact, on a much lower level, of the relationship between wisdom and understanding, Chokhmah and Bina. But before he met that young woman, it wasn't there. There was nothing in his mind. The furthest thing from his mind was a young woman. And now within himself awakened this idea that there's room in his life for a young woman. Okay, so let's use that as a metaphor to understand that before Hashem conceived of these 10 spheres, they weren't there. But he conceived of them, and so he conceived of them within himself. Like this young man doesn't have a relationship with a young woman yet. It's just crossing his mind that there's a potential here for a relationship, for a marriage, for a family, for children, and so on. So we're going to say that Hashem conceives of these 10 aspects, and then out of them comes the whole world and comes Jewish people and so on. So what's the driving force there? So just like the young man, deep down within him, there's a driving force which is called love. He feels a nascent beginning of love in his mind. So Hashem also feels a love that motivates the whole of creation. What is that love? That is the love of the Jewish people. Hashem conceives in his mind, from the deep recesses of his mind, the relationship that he can have with the Jewish people. And you had a mock wedding last night. Well, the chassan in the wedding is representative of Hashem. And the kala, that's you, is representative of the Jewish people. And the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai is the wedding. And the wedding ring is the Shabbos. And the Torah is the Ksuba. It's all taking place on much higher levels. And down here, it's two people, a man and a woman, getting married. Hello, good morning.
Oh, hi, good morning, Rabbi.
What's your name?
Naomi Asulan.
Naomi Asulan.
Yep.
Naomi Asulan. Well, Asulan is, I believe, a Moroccan name,
Correct.
but you have an American accent.
Yep.
You married an Asulan.
I'm not married. My parents are Moroccan.
Your mother married an Asulan.
Yeah.
My wife is from a Moroccan community in Israel, so there was a young man there named Asulan. That's how I know the name.
Or Chabad or
Dimona,
oh Dimona. Maybe we're related.
quite likely.
Olds are related.
Are you joining the class for a day, a week, a month?
For today.
Just one day?
Trying it out and maybe for longer.
Oh, okay. That's what everybody says.
Mirza Shah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So now we're up to the stage where the neshama is becoming realized as a creation. It must have garments. You know, if a baby is born into the world, to parents, they accept the baby with open arms. She doesn't come with any luggage. She doesn't come with a dowry. And they accept this naked child with open arms. But the child says, fine, but clothe me. I want garments. And the garments, this is why the soul comes into this world, because only here can you get garments. Garments of the soul are thought, speech, and action. Things that you think, that's who you are. That's the garment of your mind. And things that you say, these are the garments of your speech. And things that you do, these are the garments of your activities. A little bit of attendance here. Shoshana,
Yes.
were you at the wedding yesterday also?
Wedding yesterday?
Yes, there was a,
Yes, of course.
your mom?
Yes.
What? What about your mom?
She was my mom.
Oh, Shoshana was your mother. She gave you away. Okay, Chaya Atkins, were you at the wedding? There was for those of you who are just tuning in, there was a
Whoa, nice job.
there was a mock wedding last night to get the girls in the right spirit. Fine. So here we are in chapter 4.
Oh, wow.
And this chapter is constructed like a masterpiece of engineering. We start with the general statement, then we're going to expand on it, and then we're going to expand on it further with illustrations and examples. So here comes the general statement. Every godly soul, now we learned that there are the godly soul, and we learned the animal soul and the godly soul. In the godly soul, we learned that there are levels of the godly soul. There's nefesh, that part of the soul is most connected with our physical life, but it's not physical. And then there's the ruach, which is more connected with spiritual things, feelings, and emotions, spiritual sensitivity. And then there's the neshama. The neshama is a part of God. And each one gives life to that which is lower than itself. Okay? So we have these three, and these three levels all seek garments. And the garments are what you think, what you say, what you do. That's who you are. We're all familiar with the statement. You are what you eat.
Yeah.
Well, you're also what you say. And you are what you do. A person who gives a lot of charity is a charitable person. A person who says a lot of wise things is a wise person. A person who does a lot of good deeds is a kind person. What's he like? Oh, he's kind. He's very kind. Because he does kind things. A person who speaks very nicely, it says, you say, well, he's a darshan. He's a real teacher. He's a wonderful teacher. That's who he is. So we are what we think. Think good. It makes things good. Think good about somebody. It encourages them that they should be what you think of them. Think bad of somebody, heaven forbid. It pushes them in the wrong direction. Famous case, I don't know the person, exactly who a person was, but I've heard this many times, that a girl, could be a boy, a girl who ended up from a good family, ended up in all kinds of trouble. And they said to her, how did a girl from your background end up in all this trouble? She said, well, my teacher always told me I was no good. So if I had to make a choice between being good and no good, I knew I was not, the no good was really who I was. So we have to be so careful what we say, to speak only good, to think only good. Think good, it makes things good. So these are the garments that the soul desires: thought, what you think, what you say, and what you do. Now, what question is, I used to have a teacher, I've told you this a few times already this year because I love this statement. He wasn't even Jewish. He was a teacher of mine when I was in college. How do you like that? He used to say, young people nowadays, he said, and this was in the last of the ancient times. He says, young people nowadays want to be free to think for themselves, but they always forget that they need something to think about. They need information. So what are we going to think about, talk about? What are we going to do? The answer here is the next line, page 76, second dark lines, bold lines, the 613 commandments of the Torah. These are things for us to do, things for us to think about, things for us to talk about. Next set of Hebrew lines, Kasha Adam Makayim B'Maisa Kol Mitzvahs Maisius. Naomi, do you speak Hebrew?
Yeah.
Okay. So when a person will fulfill all the positive commandments that's possible, which, by the way, it's not possible, because most of the commandments of the Torah are connected with the Beis HaMikdash. We can't do any of them. We can learn about them. We can do them in speech. We can try to understand them. We can do them in thought. But physically, we can't do it till Mashiach comes. We can't do them. And that's why there's darkness in the world. It says in the Talmud, the Rebbe is brought in Hasidus quite a lot. If the non-Jewish people understood how much benefit they have from the godliness that's brought into the world through the service in the Beis HaMikdash, they would send armies to protect it. You know what it's like? It's like in a theater, you have the central character on stage, and there's a spotlight on the character or the performer, and they're in the spotlight, and the light spills over. So when the Jewish people are doing their avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, there's a strong light shining on them in the Beis HaMikdash, and there's a spillover into the rest of the world. The rest of the world gets the benefit of this. So when a person is Makayim B'Maisa, when he fulfills in his actions all the mitzvahs of the Torah, gives an example here in brackets, when he puts on tefillin or wears tzitzis, or in the case of a person who keeps Shabbos, lighting Shabbos candles is actually a mitzvah not of the Torah, it's a mitzvah of the rabbis, one of the 7 mitzvahs of the rabbis. So when a person fulfills this positive activity, that's a mitzvah activity, and when a person with his power of speech is Isaac is occupied like the business. The Ferush Kol Tariag mitzvahs, all the 613 mitzvahs, like we learned yesterday. Yaakov sends a message to Esav when he has to confront him. He says, don't be angry at me, my twin brother, because I took the brachas and you felt that they belonged to you. Don't be angry. This was Hashem's will. I got all the brachas. I didn't get any benefit from them. I didn't become great. I didn't become powerful. You became great and powerful. I didn't. What do I have? Sheep and goats and camels. A lot, but it doesn't make me a ruler, a king, or anything like that. And not only that, where was I the last 20 years? I was living with a very wicked person, Laban, a crook from the land of the crooks. And in parentheses, girls, it's something we have to keep in mind, that our great-grandfather was a crook. He was a low-down swindler. And Yaakov had to fight for his life to survive. He tried to destroy the whole future of the Jewish people. It shouldn't be any Jewish people. It's described in the beginning of the Haggadah. Laban wanted to kill our father. So Yaakov sends a message, Im Laban Garti, I've been living in exile, like a ger, like a stranger, in the land of Haran. Haran means anger, the land of anger, in the angry land. I've been living there with Laban, my uncle, my wicked uncle, who tried to swindle me over and over and over 100 times. Im Laban Garti, why are you angry at me? What did I get out of all this? But the word Garti changed the letters around. Remember we did this yesterday? Same letters spell the word Tarayag. 613. Im Laban Garti, it's a rhyme. Im Laban Garti, v'Tarayag mitzvah shamarti. Even in that environment of golus shabagolus, exile within exile, falsehood and lies, I kept all the mitzvahs of the Torah. I was steadfast. I held on to that which was good and true and right. That's his message to Esau. In other words, Esau, my brother, I'm ready for Moshiach. How about you? What did you do the last 20 years? He felt surely Esau was also ready. Why did Yitzchak want to bless Esau in the first place? Esau was a powerful, powerful person from a very, very high source. And Yitzchak understood this source and wanted to maximize it, wanted to realize it in a holy way. And he felt sure that this firstborn son, Esau, would be the ultimate warrior for Moshiach and would bring Moshiach. But unfortunately, Rivka knew better, his wife knew better, that he was not reformed. So that was Yaakov's message to Esau. Where I was, I kept the 613 mitzvahs. How about you? Are you ready to go with me? And together we're going to bring Moshiach? That's Yaakov's message in this week's parsha to Esau. And the messengers come back from Esau, and what do they tell him? What's the message? The message of the shluchim that Yaakov sent to Esau. What's their message? He didn't change. He's coming with a huge army of 400 times 400 men, ruthless murderers, all of them. And they're coming after you. Pretty frightening news. So with his power of speech, he's occupied in studying and teaching all the Tariag mitzvahs. And and with his thoughts, he's page 77. He understands and comprehends all that's possible for him with his intellectual abilities, with his limitations, with his strengths, and nobody has infinite intellect. So as much as he's got, he's focusing on godly understanding with it. Mashev sholoi lahasik, as much as he can possibly understand. The pardes. What is pardes? Pardes is a Hebrew word for orchard. You ready for this? Put your thinking caps on. Pardes stands for pshat. Pshat is a simple meaning of the Torah. Pardes, the resh stands for remez, the hinted meaning of the Torah. Like when we say Moda'ani in the morning, we thank Hashem for giving us back our life. The pshat is, we don't say Hashem's name because we didn't wash our hands yet. That's the halacha. The halacha, we wash our hands and we don't say Hashem's name without washing our hands. Just say Moda'ani lefanecha, melech. We call Hashem a king, we don't call him by his name. Remez, what's the hint? The hint is not just that Hashem is giving you back our soul. What's hinted at is Hashem is giving back the soul to the whole world. He's recreating the world. He's sending new life to the whole universe. And you are a small universe. So that's the remez. Then there's a level called drush. Pardes, the dalet is drush. What is drush? Drush is an ethical lesson. What's the ethical lesson? The ethical lesson is when someone gives you something to watch, you are now in trouble. Because you're responsible. If anything happens to this object that a person gives you, listen, I got to go to the store. I've got to go to the Y. I'm going swimming, but I don't want to take my money with me. Maybe somebody's going to rob me. I'm going to go through my trousers when I go swimming or go through my wallet. And I don't want to I happen to have a few $100s in my purse. I don't want to take a risk. Will you watch it for me? Say, yeah, sure, no problem. And you go to the store to get a yogurt or something, and you come back, and somebody went through what did you do with the money? You put it in the drawer with your stockings. Where else should it go? That's a good hiding place. And somebody broke into your house, and first thing they went was to the stocking drawer, and they took the money. Now your friend comes back and says, where's my money? You were responsible. You had to put it in a safe place. You had to put it in the safe. Behind the picture of the Rebbe, there was a safe. Why didn't you put it in the safe behind the picture of the Rebbe? Or somebody leaves you a car. I'm going to a wedding of a friend of mine in Florida. Can I leave my car in your driveway? Yeah, sure. This happened to me once. I left a car by a friend because I had to leave town. I left it by a friend. And somebody came and said to my friend, can I use the car? He said, yeah, you could use the car. Drive carefully. He used the car. He got stopped. He got pulled over by a policeman. And I got the ticket. It's my car. He wasn't allowed to do that, right? So that's what happens if someone points you as a watchman. So the ethical lesson we learn from this is if a person appoints you as a watchman, you gave Hashem your neshama overnight because you went to sleep. You said, Hashem, I'm returning my neshama to you. Please watch it for me. You give it to him tired and worn out, exhausted. Your eyes are burning. You're not capable of doing anything, reading, davening, learning. And you go to sleep. You get up in the morning refreshed. Hashem gives you back your neshama fresh and renewed. So that's the ethical lesson is when someone gives you something to take care of, you have to be a faithful watchman. That's an ethical lesson. So we see all the different levels of idea of Torah. I should call there these 4 levels. The 4th level is called Sod. That's the Kabbalah level, the mystical level of things. These 4 levels, the first letter of each one spells the word Pardes, which means the orchard. That's the orchard of Torah. Torah is like an orchard, an apple orchard, with wonderful fruit growing in it. So when a person understands everything in the Torah on all 4 levels, so that's how your thought is connecting to the Torah. And now comes the clincher. Since the Torah is one thing with Hashem, through these activities that we do, through the Torah that we learn, that's verbally, and we teach, and through the understanding that we have of the laws of the Torah on all the 4 levels of Pardes, which correspond, by the way, to the 4 worlds that we learned about, the 4 worlds, which correspond to the 4 letters of Hashem. Everything is so orderly and organized, unbelievable. We connect through our actions, through our words, through our thoughts and understanding with Hashem, because Hashem and the Torah are one thing. So how can I connect to Hashem? I can't hug Hashem. I can't go to the show. I can't go to the movies with Hashem. What can I do with Hashem? I can do the things He wants me to do. I can say the things that He wants me to say. I can think the things that He thinks. And all the good things that I do. If I do a mitzvah, guess what? Hashem goes with me, He does it with me. It's like we're going out on a date. Where do you want to go? I want to go bowling. No, I want to go do a mitzvah. Okay, I'll do a mitzvah with you, he says. You want to light Shabbos candle? I'll light the Shabbos candle with you. I'll hold your hand. It says Avram gave himself a bris, Hashem held his hand. Hashem held the hand with the knife. It shouldn't slip. Every time you do a mitzvah, it says Hashem does the mitzvah together with you. That's what it says. Here, look in your siddur. Here, in Shachris, in the siddur, after Baruch Sha'omar, y'all know where I'm talking about? Yes? We have the last chapters of Tehillim. So it says there in the siddur on page 18, which is chapter, what? Can't read the number. 147 says the last line. Magi devarav liYaakov. Hashem teaches His words to Yaakov. Chukav, His statutes, u'mishpatov, His laws, to Yisrael. So Yaakov and Yisrael, that's us. Hashem teaches His words to Yaakov, that's us. Magi devarav liYaakov. Chukav u'mishpatov, His statutes and His laws to Yisrael, that's us. And Hasidus underlines the His part. They are His words, His laws, His statutes, meaning He does them. So as a bar mitzvah boy says a mimer, Hashem puts on tefillin. You're putting on tefillin now? Hashem puts on tefillin every day, except Shabbos. So then the mimer says, so what's written in Hashem's tefillin? Our tefillin say, "Hear, Israel, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one." What's written in Hashem's tefillin? Who is like unto Israel, one nation in the world? Did you hear that? Our tefillin proclaim the unity of God. God's tefillin proclaim the unity of Jewish people. What's our unity? Our unity is that we reveal and announce and proclaim the unity of God in the world. There you go. So Hashem does mitzvahs with us. When we learn Torah, Hashem learns Torah with us, sits opposite us and learns the same Torah. When you learn a teaching of a sage, it says the lips of the sage move together with you. That he says the words, he taught these words, he brought these words into the world. You're learning them, It gives him life, and he says the words together with you. When you learn a mimer from the Rebbe is saying the mimer with you. Have a good Shabbos.
Rabbi, the thing for the Shabbos, is that just for Shabbos call or is it an actual meal?
That's the Shabbos Kala.
So when does it start? 3?
1.
1.
Yeah.
So after our meal we come?
I guess so.
How do we know that Hashem?
How do you know that Hashem wears tefillin?
Yeah.
It says, Magid Devar L'Yankov, Chukav Mishpatav L'Yisrael. His mitzvahs that he does, he teaches the Jewish people to do them. That's the proof.
That he was tefillin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the question is, what's written in his tefillin? What do his tefillin amount to? So the Hasidus explains, according to Hasidus, what does tefillin mean for Hashem? In the spiritual sense, what is tefillin all about? Tefillin is the connection between the creator and the creation.
Another question. So,
For instance, Hashem commands us to take these 4 parshas that speak about 4 times in the Torah, it speaks about tefillin. 4 times, exactly, not 5, not 3. And each of these parshas speak about the unity of God and the exodus from Egypt. Because a person it has to be emblazoned on his mind, on his heart, that Hashem is the king of the world. He has infinite power to do anything in any world, higher worlds and lower worlds. And he commands us to take these parshas and put them over our mind, that the 4 parshas which correspond to the 4 aspects of our mind, because they correspond to the 4 aspects of Hashem's intellect, as explained in chapter 41 of the Tanya. And then they come down into the basic emotional faculties of love and fear, love of Hashem, and fear of, heaven forbid, profaning a negative mitzvah, doing something wrong. And this comes down over your heart, down into the realms of your activities, so that it's something that permeates the whole of Hashem's spiritual makeup, and through tefillin, it permeates the whole of our physical makeup. They go together.
what permeates our spiritual?
What?
What permeates our spiritual?
The whole concept of tefillin, the whole idea of tefillin.
And what's the physical?
The physical is you physically wear them. That you take the ideas that are written in the 4 parshas and you put them over your mind.
Right.
You have 4 aspects of your mind. Chokhmah, Bina, Das. Das has 2 parts to it. Chokhmah, Chesed, and Gevurah. So it comes from Das in the back of the mind down the 2 straps, on the right side and the left side. The right side is kindness, the left side is strength.
I have a question about.
And through putting on tefillin, a person will remember godliness and will limit his desires, his unruly desires. And this connects Hashem, whose wisdom and understanding are in these parshas, and the parshas themselves are an expression. Every law about the tefillin is an expression of God's wisdom and His will. So it's a complete and total unification on every level. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I didn't understand its depth.
I lost one of Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi Pape.
So how does Hashem keep the mitzvah tefillin? Just like we take the parshas